Let's just check this one out, folks. Let's just check this one out. This is part 2 of the daily rabbit hole on the Epstein files and making all these connections. So I dumped off on Steven Feinberg in Cerberus Capital Management. Now check this one out. Steven Feinberg is Jewish. He was born to a Jewish family in the Bronx in 1960 and raised in a Jewish household. That's well documented across his biographies like Epstein. Epstein's Jewish too. There's no public indication he's particularly observant as an adult, but ethnically and by family background, he's Jewish. Cool. There's no evidence that he has dual citizenship to Israel, but he is an American born and raised in New York, Bronx, Spring Valley. Reliable sources like Forbes list his citizenship as United States only. And his official bio says he's no mention of any other nationality. The ideas are the... Oh yeah, hey folks, and Steven Feinberg, straight up, he's now the Secretary Deputy of Defense at the Pentagon. The second most powerful position in our defense military. In our defense and our National Defense Department. All right, let that sink in. Because we're going to touch on some other things too. Check. You need to check out NDAA, right? Section 224. Now, the second runner-up, the gentleman we saw in the picture earlier, Howard Lutnick, has his own separate connections to Epstein. He was Epstein's next-door neighbor in New York for over a decade. The Epstein files show they stayed in contact for years after Epstein's 2008 conviction. Emails going as late as 2018, more than 100 mentions total. In 2012, Lutnick took his wife and 4 young kids to have lunch with Epstein on Little St. James Island. They also invested in the same small advertising tech company together around that time. Lutnick now says the interactions were very limited and meaningless, and he's been grilled about it in Congress this year. There's no known link between Lutnick and Feinberg, Cerberus, DynCorp, or Momentum. He's just another wealthy finance guy who overlapped with the Epstein socially and in some bigger dealings, business dealings. So yes, Howard Lutnick is Jewish. He was born to a Jewish family, raised in a Jewish household in Jericho, New York, and is widely described as Jewish in both mainstream and Jewish publications. His mother's maiden name was Lieberman, a common Jewish surname like that doesn't make, it's just, another connection there, right? Interesting. Now, Trump just nominated this guy to be the Federal Reserve Chairman. Kevin Warsh is usually spelled War, is Trump's current Federal Reserve Chair. His name appears in the Epstein files mainly in a couple of guest lists from the 2010. One was for a Christmas party in St. Barts, another was for a Wall Street related dinner. He and his wife Jane Lauder were listed as potential guests. Warsh has stated under questioning that he and his immediate family had no personal or financial relations with Epstein, didn't attend any of the events, and didn't know the guy. Sure, bud, sure. He's also Jewish, raised in a Jewish... just look at another one. Interesting. Hey, man, right on, guys. Something about being, being Jewish and hanging out together. I guess, it's a small community. Birds of a feather flock together. One was for a Christmas party in St. Barts, another was for a Wall Street related dinner. He and his wife, Jane Lauder, were listed as potential guests. Warsh stated under the questioning, blah, blah, right? He's this and that and the other thing. No known connections to Feinberg, Cerberus, Lutnick, Momentum, or DynCorp. He's just another... Okay, great. Kevin Warsh. Now, the U.S. government has been contracting with this guy, Larry Ellison, the Oracle owner, the Oracle Network owner. He's the second richest man in the world. And Larry Ellison tends to like to nuke my accounts. Don't you, Larry? Yeah, I didn't know you were going to be in the Epstein files, but now I know. And knowing's half the battle. So, I guess you gave Jeffrey Epstein 3 of your phone numbers because you wanted to make sure he really knew how to get a hold of you whenever he could, whenever he needed to. Yeah, so let's take a look at this one here. Larry Ellison tie is pretty minimal. His name shows up in 23 documents in the Epstein files, mostly because he was listed in Epstein's black book, address book with 3 phone numbers. If you can't reach me here, reach me here, reach me here. There's no evidence he ever flew on Epstein's plane, visited the island, exchanged emails with him. Of course there wouldn't be. Or had any financial dealings that made it into the files. no allegations of wrongdoing tied to him. Now check this out, folks. The Lolita Express was a farce. Nobody was flying into Epstein's island, really. They were all taking boats. So I would really look at the boats, folks. Now, Larry Ellison, yeah, he's Jewish by birth, raised in a Reformed Jewish household, but like the others we've talked about, that's just background, not evidence of anything deeper here. He's just another ultra-wealthy guy whose contact info ended up in the Epstein Rolodex. Nothing more substantial than, sure, I bet there's nothing to see here, folks, huh, Larry? But you gave him 3 of your phone numbers. You gave that child sex trafficking pedo 3 of your phone numbers? Bet you want to make sure you know how to get a hold of you, huh, Larry? Interesting. And I just said, I think this is substantial in and of itself. Another Epstein's files, I would say, connection. Good old Larry Ellison, huh? Fair point. 23 mentions isn't nothing. But to be precise, those 23 documents are almost entirely because his name and 3 phone numbers were listed in the Epstein address book, the Black Book. There's no evidence of emails between them, no flight logs, no visits to the island, and no financial ties mentioned in the files. Compared to the Steven Feinberg, who had actual business-related emails and documents spanning years, Ellison's presence is more like a contact entry than an active relationship. It's a connection, sure, but a thin one on the evidence we have. Doesn't matter. You're listed in the file. You were in Epstein's fucking Black Book, dude. With all of your, here, get hold of me here, or here, or here. You're I knew you were sus. So sus. Yep, Larry Ellison in the Epstein files. Wow. Doesn't surprise me. Because Larry Ellison's best friend was mentioned in the Epstein files too. What? Elon Musk. Oh, yeah. Let that sink in. Now, AI says, look, it's a contact book, non-exclusive membership list. Epstein's Black Book had over 1,500 names, more than 1,570 according to reports, including celebrities, politicians, business people, and even his own staff like gardeners and hairdressers. The 23 mentions of Larry Ellison's are most entirely from that one entry listing in his name and 3 phone numbers. There are no emails between them, no flight logs, no anything. I'm sure there isn't, but I'm sure they had, numerous, like, whatever phones, throwaways or whatever. Who knows, why do you need 3 phone numbers? The only time I had 3 phone numbers is when I was dealing, right? Yeah. Let that sink in. Making the Rolodex of a hyper network guy like Epstein wasn't that rare for someone at Ellison's level. Oh yeah, making the Rolodex of a hyper networked guy like Epstein, the pedophile, wasn't that rare for someone at Ellison's level. It shows he was on Epstein's, but no evidence to support anything. Yeah. Birds of a feather flock together. Now look, folks, I'm not going to say anything other than Larry's a creep, and I know he's been a creep for a minute. But then, and Trump just gave Larry Ellison the keys to a private military contract using the Oracle network. Oh no! Now look at here. Mark Zuckerberg's connection is pretty light, but Meta AI just got another private military government contract, and he's listed in the Epstein files too. Wow! After dinner, Zuckerberg asked for Epstein's contact info through his assistants, and Epstein's team sent over his phone number and email. And Zuckerberg's chief of staff replied, "Noted, with thanks." Epstein later said he reached out, but never heard back. There's no evidence of any further communications, meetings, flights, visits to the island. Some reports say he shows up in around 280 files, but most of those are just references to that single, right? No deeper tie like the others we've talked about. Oh, birds of a feather. Oh, hey, guess what? Zuckerberg, I believe he's Jewish. And then we've got Peter Thiel. He's not Jewish, but the Epstein multiple times starting in 2014 introduced another Silicon Valley executive. Epstein's schedules show at least one lunch with him in 2017, and there are emails between them from 2014 to 2018, including Epstein saying that was fun, see you in 3 weeks after one meeting, and later inviting them to his Caribbean island in 2018. Thiel has publicly acknowledged meeting Epstein a few times, but said he didn't ask enough questions about him. His team, yeah, right. Peter Thiel and guess what? Trump just gave Peter Thiel a private military contract and gave him access to oh no, another one, huh? Another Epstein files recruitment. Trippy. It just seems like Trump is treating that Epstein roster And Epstein Files is like his personal recruitment roster. Hey, Trump, you're done, fool. You're a weird pedo protector.